Elshinnawy, welcoming you to our easy and enjoyable course, which is modern drama. This is our seventh lecture, and before we start Act 3, actually, we need to preview the main points that we stressed on in Act 2. If you still remember, one of the important points that we stressed on in this act was the Krogstad's second visit and his fresh threat to Noura. And we know that Krogstad for the second time visited Noura just to threaten her, to convince her husband of keeping him in the bank. And not just this, but in the second time he threatened her to convince her husband to to promote him in a higher position in the bank. And then also another point that we also stressed on is it was the Mrs. Lindy's promise to help Noura, and we know that Mrs. Lindy promised to help Noura because she felt that she was terribly stressed and disappointed because of this threat, and she couldn't do anything to convince her husband to keep Krogstad in his position or in his post. Another point we also stressed is Noura's intention to commit suicide. Because of this great pressure on Noura, she felt in a moment that she needed to finish, to put an end to her life, because she did not want even to make her husband liable to that situation. She does not want her husband to be involved in a crime which she did undeliberately. Another point, of course, is Mrs. Lindy offer of marriage to Krogstad, and we know that Lindy and Krogstad, they knew each other long time ago, but Mrs. Lindy married a rich man, and you know, of course, the reasons for this. She married an old rich man for the sake of helping her critically and seriously ill mother who died later, and also to help her two younger brothers who grow up and they do not need her anymore. So Mrs. Lindy now feels alone. She feels lonely, and she wants someone to continue her life with. So she offered to marry Krogstad. Then we ended this Act 2 with Helmer's angry outbursts after reading Krogstad's letter. Of course, Noura and even us, we are surprised for that reaction when Helmer reads Krogstad's first letter. And he accused Noura of destroying his future, of taking him to be out of his new position, which is, you know, that he becomes the manager in the bank. And she ended his happiness. He accused her of all these things, forgetting that she did this for himself and for saving him from death, and because of she was trying to follow the advice of the doctors to take him to a warm climate. Of course, Helmer did not know anything about the story of the loan. He did not know anything about why Noura borrowed that money, and about her forgery, the signature of her father. He did not know anything all about this, but even he should give himself a chance to understand why his wife did this. But he because he is self-centered, he is selfish, he is thinking of himself only, he attacked Noura, and he was quite furious without even giving himself, as I said, a chance to understand. Now let's start together Act 3. We have here a shocking revelation for Noura. Helmer's reaction to Krogstad's letter comes to Noura as a shocking revelation. Now Noura was completely shocked because of this reaction of her husband. Why? Because she thought that she did not do this for herself. As we said, that she borrowed the money not for the sake of buying herself a car, jewelry or dresses or any of these things, but she borrowed the money just for the sake of helping her husband, Helmer, for the sake of helping him not to die, because he was critically and seriously ill. She had thought that Helmer, with all the moral principles which he had always professed, would never yield to Krogstad's blackmail and would defy Krogstad, refusing flatly to accept his demands. She had also thought that with all the love that he had been professing for her, and in the light of the sacrifice she had made for his sake, he would take upon his own shoulders the entire responsibility for the criminal deed which she had committed without having realized its implication. This is what she thought. She thought that her husband would sacrifice himself for her, and appreciating, being grateful to the favor she did for him. But of course nothing of this happened, and he as I said, accused her of destroying his happiness and of destroying his future. But Helmer has lost his temper. He became very furious, very angry. He lost his temper and taken a drastic decision against her, even without giving her a chance to explain the circumstances under which she had entered into that transaction. As I said, that he did not even give her a chance to explain, to defend herself. He accused her, losing his temper, attacking her fearlessly without even giving her, as we said, a chance to explain the circumstances under which she had entered into that transaction with Krogstad several years ago. But there is yet another choke in the store for her. Not only this, but there is another choke. What is this other choke? We have here, while they are talking and while Helmer is accusing her of destroying his happiness and destroying his future, another letter came from Krogstad, and this is another thing that made another choke to Noura. So Krogstad's second letter and Helmer's reaction to it. Just at this time, another letter from Krogstad comes through a messenger. But what is this second letter? Is it another letter to threaten Noura and her husband? Let's see. In this letter, Krogstad has said that on account of the good luck that has befallen him in the shape of Mrs. Lindy's offer to marry him, he no longer bears any grudge, any hatred against Noura and her husband. So he told Noura and her husband, now I do not hate you, I'm not accusing you, I'm not threatening you anymore. And this is in the second letter. So remember that Krogstad sent two letters. The first one he sent to Helmer, telling him all about the details of the forgery of his wife, about the loan, she got the money and all these things. And this letter, the first letter, made Helmer so angry and so furious and accusing, attacking Noura for this. But let's see the reaction, the attitude of Helmer now after receiving the second letter. So as I said that in the second letter, Krogstad told them that he would not ever threaten them anymore, and he forgets the whole issue, the whole case, without any kind of threatening. So now let's see, and let's note the reaction of Helmer. In this letter, he has offered an apology. This is Krogstad. He offered an apology to Nora for having written his previous letter and for having tried to blackmail her and her husband. On going through this letter, Helmer feels overjoyed. Now, in the first letter, after receiving the first letter, Helmer was very angry, very furious, lost his temper and lost his mood. Now, after receiving the second letter from Krogstad, now he became very happy, overjoyed. He feels overjoyed. This letter has put an end to all the tormenting anxiety which he had been experiencing only a few moments ago. So this second letter represents an end to all these anxieties, to all these ideas, to all these threats given to him by Krogstad. This means that there will be no scandal and that he will be secure in his position. This second letter which Krogstad sent means that no one would know about this, and there would be no public disclosure. He is not going to disclose, to reveal the secret to anyone. He is not going to tell the police. And if things go this way, it means that everything will be the same as it was before. It means that he will keep his position, Helmer will keep his position in the bank, and he would never lose it, and there will be no threats of this. So that's why Helmer becomes very happy for this. At the same time, his attitude towards Nora undergoes a complete change. Now, a different person. I'd like to see, this is a new face, this is a new person. Someone is angry, someone is attacking, someone is aggressive, and then after receiving the second letter, he becomes a different person. He is again a loving husband, someone who is speaking sweetly, someone who is speaking softly to his wife, right? So he tells her that the crisis with which he was faced is over and that they have now nothing to worry about. He tells her that he forgives her. Look, he is the one who is forgiving. He forgives her. This is ironical, actually. This is something ironical, that he is the one, he is saying that I forgive you. He should wait for her to tell him this, but he said that I forgive you. He tells her that he forgives her for whatever she had done, and that he will again, look, he will again do what? He will again love her, protect her, and guide her through life just as he had been doing before. Whereas we have to ask ourselves, where was that love and where was that protection after receiving the first letter? Now we feel that, you know, we feel that Helmer is hiding behind a mask. So once he received the first letter, he takes off the mask, and his ugly face, his aggressive reaction, his aggressive behavior become quite clear to Nora. And then when he receives the second letter, when he feels that he is safe, he is secure, he is not going to lose his job, now he tries to put on the mask again on his face, the mask of a loving husband. But the real face of Helmer is the face of someone who is self-centered, is the face of someone who is selfish, is the face of someone who is only thinking of himself and not thinking of the others, is the face of someone who can never sacrifice for the sake of the others. And now he is trying to pretend love. He is trying to act again, to put on that mask again, to hide behind that mask of a loving father. a loving husband. So he said that he will again love her, protect her, and guide her through life, just as he had been doing. And of course, we did not find any of these things he is talking about now there after receiving, I mean, the first letter. So let's continue. He says that now she is his property in a double sense, because he has given her a new life by having forgiven her. He goes on to say that she has now become both his wife and his child. In other words, he will love her as his wife, and he will protect her as if she were his child. And of course, now Noura does not trust him, and even we do not trust him, because we, with Noura, we could see his ugly face, his true face, which is hiding behind that other face which he's trying to put on. Now Helmer's reaction to this second letter from Krogstad shows that Helmer has relapsed into his former self-complacency and has once again assumed the role of the possessor of his wife. Krogstad's second letter has made Helmer forget all those offensive remarks which he had made to Noura only a little while ago as a consequence of the first letter. Noura's discovery of the true character of Helmer. Now Noura sees the true face, the real face of her husband. Now Noura discovered that she was deceived all these long years, these 9 years, through which she lived with someone who was hiding, as we said, behind a mask. Now she discovered the truth, and after discovering the truth, is she going to accept to continue her life with him? Is she going to accept this ugly face that she saw after receiving the first letter of Krogstad? What's her reaction? This is what we need to know in the coming slides. So Helmer's behavior after going through Krogstad's first letter and then after going through Krogstad's second letter has revealed to Noura the true character, the true face of her husband. It has become clear to her that he is not the kind of self-sacrificing husband that she had thought him to be. You know that all the time Noura, she is thinking that her husband, if he knows the truth about the crime, if he knows the truth about the forgery, he would take the whole responsibility over his shoulder, and he would be a man, a husband, a true husband, responsible for the action of his wife. Especially she did this for his own sake, and this is what Noura is thinking of and is expecting out of her husband to do. And of course nothing of this happens, and that's why now she discovered, as we said here, the truth about him, the reality about him, his real behavior and his real face. So let's go. It has also become clear to her that the moral principles which he always used to profess were not genuinely held by him. She has discovered the hollowness of his moral principles and the selfishness of his love for her. She discovered that this man, Helmer, does not love her, does not really and truly love her. If he loves her, he would sacrifice for her. If he loves her, he would take the responsibility upon himself. If he loves her, he would never let her to be in that situation, to be blackmailed by Krogstad. He would never let her and leave her alone facing this situation. And that's why Noura was sure that Helmer does not love her. That Helmer is saying something and doing something else. Helmer is not practicing what he preaches. You know that there is a certain proverb that says, practice what you preach, which means that you have to do what you are saying to the people all the time. If you are telling the people to be good or to do something good, you have to do the same thing before telling them. So Noura found that her husband is not practicing what he is preaching, right? Yes, okay. She has also discovered his egocentric nature and his unpatient self-complacency. As a result of these discoveries, Noura now takes a crucial decision so far as her relationships with Helmer is concerned. Noura's decision to leave her husband altogether. Now she decides to do something shocking to her husband. Noura now tells Helmer that having discovered what he really is, after, as I said, after discovering him, after discovering his reality, after seeing his real ugly face, she has made up her mind to do what? To leave him altogether, to leave him completely, forever. She says that he is not the man she had thought him to be. She says that he has always treated her as his doll wife, just as her father had always treated her as his baby doll. She says that she has always been adopting his opinions and the views and conforming to his taste, just as she had, as a girl, been adopting the views and opinions of her father. But now she is no longer prepared to continue to live in a doll's house. She has discovered that she is an individual in her own right. She has discovered her own identity. Now she is in the process of what we call self-discovery. She tries to know herself. She tries to know her own identity, to know what she feels and to know what she thinks of, right? This is a new character. This is something, a new identity that she is trying to know. She can no longer continue to accept unquestionably the ideas and views of society. She wants to discover for herself what is right and what's wrong. She is not prepared to accept even the teachings of religion blindly. She would go out into the world to gain first-hand experience of life and to find out whether she is right or society is right. So now she is taking a trend or a tendency against the whole society. The whole society, as we know, believes in the superiority of husbands over their wives, and the society believes in the inferiority of the wives, that the wives should be inferior, the wives should be followers, the wives should be obedient, observant, submissive, all these things that the society believes in. And now Noura is taking an opposite trend, an opposite tendency. Now she refuses all this. She believes in what now she feels that she is right. She should not sacrifice herself anymore for anyone, and she should live only for her own self and not for the sake of the others. Now she must test the traditional ideas of society by her own experience. She tells her husband that his treating to her as his property and as a doll is a traditional way of treating a wife, but that she wants to find out her own potentialities. She would not mind even leaving her husband, her children, in order to arrive at her own conclusions about life from her first-hand experience of it. Helmer, of course, feels regrettable for this. He regrets, he repents, he wants to correct the situation, he wants to keep her from leaving. So he tries to convince, to dissuade her from leaving him and her home, and he repeatedly appeals to her not to leave. Now he is pleasing to her not to leave, but her mind is made up. She decides. She has made up her mind and her decision to leave. She says that more sacred than her duty to her husband and to her children is her duty to herself. She takes back from Helmer the wedding ring. She took the wedding ring. Now there is nothing in relation between you and me, even the wedding ring I do not want. Okay, so she takes back from Helmer the wedding ring which she had given him at the time of the marriage, and she then makes her exit from the house. She left him, decide, and leave, slamming the door. Slamming means that when you slam the door, it means that you have that sound of the door after you. Slamming the door behind her, which means that she would never come back. Of course, inshallah, when we are going to read the text, inshallah, with each other, of course you would see this, and inshallah you would enjoy this scene more, inshallah. Now we have something here about the significance of Noura's decision. Why she leaves him. Noura leaves her home, her husband, and even her children in order to do what? In order to establish her own identity and individuality in the world, and in order to form her own ideas and opinions. So that's why she left her husband, because she wants to have her own individuality and her own identity, as we said. Her action is a symbol of the liberation of the individuals from the traditional bonds and restraints under which the individual suffers, which hinder his development. But more than that, the drastic step taken by Noura was at the time a trumpet call to all women of the time to assert their rights and not to continue as the property of their husbands. Now we have a message to this play. What's the message of the play? It is in the final act that the message of the play becomes clear to us, even though Ibsen himself becomes or denied it. The last discussion between Noura and Helmer and this act clearly shows that the real theme of the play is the rights and the duties of a woman. So this is the real message, which is the rights and the duties of the woman. Noura's decision at the end is intended to show that a man has no business to treat his wife as an item of his property or as a possession of his. So the message is that the husbands do not have the right to treat their wives as their property. A woman has a mind of her own and an individuality of her own. She needs a favorable environment in which she can think for herself and can make her own wishes known to her husband. She should not be taken for granted by her husband. Helmer has shown himself to be a complete agnostic, a self-centered man, a self-complacent husband who thinks that a wife is intended to be a source of warmth and comfort in the household, and that all that matters is the husband's ideas, opinions, and tastes to which a wife must conform. Noura, by her bold action at the end, shows that she is not the conformist type of wife, or that she has been a conformist for too long a time, and that she is not prepared to continue in that role. She refuses to continue in that situation. The play's advocacy of feminist independence becomes manifest in act, and then we reach the last point here, or the last item in this lecture, that the model question that we are used to have during this lecture, our lectures, that we are familiar to have a question like this. At the end, we have, at the end of a doll's house, Noura has discovered her what? Her own car, her own house, her own doll, or her own identity. Of course, the correct answer is D, which is her own identity. Okay. Now this is the end of lecture number 7. Inshallah, we will meet soon in lecture number 8. Thank you very much, and wish you all the best to all of you. Thank you, and see you inshallah in the coming lecture. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.